Hello, welcome back. Today I have another ink review video for you. This is called Gray. It's by Diamine, and we're going to do some swatches of this ink to see how we like it. So I will tell you, if you haven't used any inks like grays or browns, you may want to give them a try, because at first I thought, wow, with all these pretty colors, why would you pick a gray? And then I tried using a gray and I thought, oh wow, this is really pretty. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is, don't knock it till you try it, I guess. But yeah, the gray inks, sometimes they have really fun properties and they look really pretty in person. It's hard to get the full range of like how pretty a gray is in a photograph. In person they look totally different. Oh, I almost forgot something. Do a little ribbonies going around the edge here, just in case. Sometimes those ribbons, the little swirls I do around the edge there, they'll show different properties of the ink, which is kind of nice. What I'm going to do real quick is put this under a fan so that it'll be dry by the time we're done. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. So first I've got some copy paper here, and we're just going to test this ink out on the copy paper. And the reason I do this, if you're new, or if I haven't explained it in a previous video that you've seen, the reason I do this on copy paper is because sometimes maybe you're at work or at school and all you have is some really cheap paper to use, and you still want to bring your fountain pen or try out some fountain pen ink or whatever. You want to use it at work and you're not sure if the ink will perform well. So that's why I do this. It's just because you never know. Sometimes, like this one, this gray, it performs great. This would be really good for work, actually. It's pretty much a work-safe color. Probably fine for school as well. No feathering or anything, so that's great. Sometimes on the copy paper, the inks will feather, and you probably wouldn't want that if you were in a professional setting. All right, let's try this on HP 32. HP 32 is a really nice copy paper. It's another copy paper, but it has a really nice coating on it, and not only is it a smoother writing experience, but the ink pools on it, and sometimes you get some nice special effects from the ink. And that's just because of how the ink reacts depending on how it dries on the paper. So if it gets absorbed right away like it does with the copy paper, you're not going to get a chance to see those fun effects that the inks might have. Sometimes they have shading, or they have like a sheen or something, and you typically won't see that on copy paper in most situations. Alright, this looks really good on the HP 32. Very well behaved ink, and there is a little bit of shading actually. Let's set that aside and let that finish drying. And this one is Tomo River paper. And Tomo River paper is also very, very smooth, and the ink typically is going to show most of its properties on this paper, at least in my experience. And I am new to fountain pens and fountain pen ink, so that's part of the reason why I'm doing all these tests. I need to do them anyway for my own personal learning and just knowing what I have, like what the inks look like that I own. So I figured I might as well bring you along on the journey, and if there's anything I can learn along the way that you can teach me, or anything that I could teach you if you're new also, I thought it would be a little bit more fun than just doing this on my own. So that's what this is for. And yeah, there's definitely some shading on this. This is a really nice gray. The other fun thing about colors like grays is sometimes if you have a color that you would love to have had a drop of gray in it, you can mix your own colors. And I would just hesitate if, I hesitate to just tell people to go mix their inks, but if you have a tiny, like a little inkwell or something, and you could put a few drops of ink in it just to see what happens, it's probably fine. Sometimes inks react funny to each other, and if you don't know what's in them, and I don't know what could go wrong necessarily other than the ink just becoming gross and unusable, but that's why I say just test a tiny bit. But sometimes, having a gray on hand just so that you can darken some of your other colors might be a smart idea if you like to mix your colors around. So this is how they look together. So here is that gray on copy paper. Here it is on the HP 32 and the Tomo River. And then on the Tomo River you can see immediately how it's got this lovely shading around the edges that is absent in on these other papers. Mostly absent. There's a tiny bit down here on the HP 32, but for the most part it's absent. But the shading does show up on the HP 32, not so much on the copy paper. It's not so prominent, but on the HP 32, the shading shows up nicely. And then also on the Tomo River, it looks really nice. So this is a really pretty gray. I'm going to go grab that swatch card and I'll be right back. All right, so here is how that swatch card looks, and it came out really nice. I love this gray. This is, I would say this is, I hate to say, but I think it's a cool tone gray. Sometimes I have trouble telling the difference, but it does appear to me to be leaning more towards cool than warm. So if you prefer a cool tone gray, this might be one for you maybe. But there is a little bit of shading in here. And I mean, obviously down here where I laid the ink down a little bit heavier, but around the edges, like that halo effect, it's very, very pretty. So this is a really nice gray, and this would probably be really pretty to paint with because it's got a lot of dimension. It's not just a flat gray in person. I hope the camera shows off some of the effects here, but it's very, very pretty. A very nice gray. So if you'd like to see more of these videos, just click like and subscribe to see more. And if you want to see me review any other colors, leave a comment down below. And if I have it or if I can get it, then we'll do a review. And thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.